Second was when I was doing that film with Laurence Fishburne. We had an
Which film was it?
It was a movie called Hoodlum. It was all about like Fish played Bumpy Johnson, and he was the black godfather basically. And he came up in the 20s and was like the man through like into like the 60s in Harlem, and he was toe to toe with like Lucky Luciano and Dutch Schultz and all these guys. And so I had gone in for a small role shortly after we graduated. Fish had come and had a talk back with our school. And shortly after that, I auditioned for the film as a kid who would poison him and then they kill him. And so I didn't get the part. And then a little while later, I found out that they were going to write a role for me. And again, I was starting to, these things were starting to like give me this idea that there are things that you cannot control. And they were like, you know, you did a great job, but when we saw your tape and we looked at your face, if Fish killed you on screen, he would lose all empathy, you know, with the audience, because like you look like Bambi. And there's nothing that I can do about that, but I'm hearing this director like, so they wrote a role of a Bambi-esque kid that follows him around and asks for a job, and then he gets a job and then he's killed, and it changes the whole trajectory of Fish's character. So we're hanging out on set, and I have these little moments with him, and I'm seeing how a film set works, and
This is your second film.
this is but I was trying to remember.
What was it your first? I know.
It's strange, like, because one, I think we had finished, we had done.
It was your first or second?
Yeah, it was first second. But so we were shooting this scene, and leading up to my big "give me the job" moment, and you know, I'm sitting next to Fish, and he's constantly reading this book, and it was called From Juba to Jive. And he would take he was learning all the colloquialisms of the period, and he was peppering him into the script, you know, in little improv moments if he found them fit, and he got up one day, and I started flipping through it. So my big scene comes, and I've learned it as I've learned it, you know, give me the job, and they go no, and that's it. And then I go, hey, give me the job. And then he goes, okay. So we get to the scene, and there's a kid, another Chicago guy in the movie, and he was doing a lot of cursing, and because that's how he got into the character. And Fish was like, you know, I'll give you a thing, but I just want to tell you, my guy hates cursing, so there's a chance. I don't want to sit on you. You can do what you want, but there is a chance I might slap you. And kid stopped cursing. So he walks in, and they're shooting this scene. They've got 2 cameras, and the before is that they've just been there's just been an attempt on their lives. So everybody's hot, and they come in, and so it's like dominoes. Like, so the one guy stopped cursing, but then another guy starts cursing, and then another guy starts cursing. And you can see Fish kind of like get mad, and it's shot in the pool hall. The set's a pool hall, and he grabs this cue, and he starts like banging on the cue, and he's saying, "Bottle it, bottle it, bottle it." because he wants everybody to stop cursing. He wants this thing to have some class, you know, like it has like a timeless element of it, and it was starting to feel too much like Menace to Society or something. So he's screaming, he splinters this pool cue, and then the camera's going, and I get to my point, and I ask for my scene, I ask for my job, and he just looks at me, and I give him my next 2 or 3 lines, and he's just staring at me. And then the silence, it just feels like forever. And the slightest smile pops up on his face. And then one by one, all the other actors in the scene just start laughing at me. And I'm sitting here like, what's going on? You know, like, is there shit on my face or something? Like, and I'm instantly kind of taken aback to the point where I just remember the book that he was reading, and I just start running, and I just start talking, and you know, I basically take the points of the scene that were important to my objective, and I just filled them with some other shit that came out of my mouth. And then I threw in a couple of colloquialisms from the guy's book. And I see him connect with me, and his eyes light up, and he says, and I'm looking at him, he's looking at me like, you've been reading my book. But he doesn't say anything. So he takes the pool cue, the splintered pool cue, and he sticks the splintered end like at my chest, and he says, all right, kid, you got the job, but don't frog up on me. Another thing from the book. And he's just staring at me, and he tosses the stick, not taking his eyes off me. And I open my hand, and the stick lands in my hand. And then the director says, cut. And, you know, I'm sure I've soiled myself. You know, and then the director comes out, and he's like, tell me you got that. And everybody's like, yeah, look, I think we got it. And then I go back, and I sit down, and I was a shoe shine boy, so I'm sitting in my shoe shine chair. And Fish sits up in the big boy chair. And he's got this beautiful suit, and he takes out this, you know, cigar, he cuts it, he lights it, starts smoking it. And he says, kid, I got 4 words for you. You ready? He doesn't look at me. And I yes sir. He exhales, and he turns around, looks at me, points a cigar at my face, and he says, go west, young man. Are you going? And I was like, I don't know. I was like, I just got out of school, man. I got this gig, and I got another thing I just did, but I don't have any money. You know, I don't have any money. I don't have the car. Everybody said you need a car to go out to LA. You got this, and you know, my student loans are about to kick in about another 3 months. He goes, I'm going to ask you one more time. Are you going? Yes, sir. And he said, I understand your concerns and your fears and all that, but don't worry about any of that shit. You got the chops, kid. You got the chops, you got people skills, and people skills go a long way. And I'm like, people's like, well, how am I doing with you? like you need a Cato? You know? He starts laughing, and he's like, but seriously, if I come to Chicago in 2 years and I hear that you're still here, I'm gonna find you, Leonard, and I swear to Christ, I'm gonna kick your ass. And I was like, okay. And I eventually moved out here, and you know, things took their course. And the footnote to that story is that like 10 years ago, so now that was 20 years ago. So 10 years ago, I'm in a restaurant in West Hollywood, and I'm on my phone, on my Palm Pilot, and you know, I see this like beautiful Aston Martin pull in, and I'm like, wow, that's nice. And I'm looking, I'm taking care of my stuff, and then I hear this Mr. Roberts, and I look up and all I see is this belly, and it's him, it's Fish, and he's like, look at you! And I get up and he goes, I turn on my TV and you're on my TV every fucking Monday night! And I'm like, yeah, man, what's up? And he gives me a hug and he kisses me. And he just like, doesn't let me go, and he just whispers in my ear and he's like, you listened. You listened. I'm so glad you listened.